is Mary from Veggies in Ardmore, Oklahoma. And a lot of my customers have been begging me for my gluten-free bread recipe. So I thought, why not? I'll share it with you today. And the actual recipe will be in the description box below. So let's get started. First thing I actually already did was to get everything laid out. And I have 2 cups plus 1/8 of a cup of nice warm water. Don't want it to be too hot, but just have that ready. Okay? So we're then going to take 1.5 cups of millet. We're going to put it in our handy dandy Vitamix. And then we're going to use 3 tablespoons of chia seed. We're going to put that in with the millet. And I like to, for this recipe, measure pretty carefully. We're going to blend these until they become a nice fine powder. So, I have my bowl ready, and I'm going to put all my dry ingredients in my bowl. My blended chia seed and millet are going to go in here, along with 1 cup of tapioca flour. I already have that measured. Get it all in there. We have 5 tablespoons of psyllium husk, and then we're going to add 3 tablespoons of any kind of sweetener that you like to use, sucanat, turbinado, whatever your favorite is. We're also going to add 2 tablespoons of SAF instant yeast. And if you can't find the SAF yeast, any kind of instant yeast will work. We're also going to add 14 tablespoons of flaxseed meal. It's 14 tablespoons. You can also measure out 3/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons. And then, for some nice flavor, I have some pink Himalayan sea salt. And I'm going to stir these dry ingredients fairly well before we add the wet ingredients, because if you don't, that tapioca flour kind of does some funny things. So let's get this stirred up really well. Then I'm going to make a little well, and I'm going to add 1/4 cup of olive oil. And this is extra virgin from Napa Valley Naturals. And now I'm going to add our water that's nice and warm. We don't want it hot. Don't want it lukewarm either. So somewhere in between. If it's too hot, it will kill your yeast. If it's not hot enough, it will actually make it so the yeast doesn't work very well. All right, so it looks more like cake batter at this point than bread dough. But what we're going to do is we are going to allow this to sit in a nice warm place. Now, we're going to let it sit for just maybe 5 minutes, and it will actually develop into bread dough. So, as you can see, it has turned into more of a dough-like texture. So now what we're going to do is we're going to knead it. Now, if your dough is a little wet still, just grab a little bit of your tapioca flour. You're going to want to turn it out of the bowl, because I want to be able to knead it just a little bit. You don't want to over-knead this dough. You don't need to knead it like you would regular bread dough, but just a little bit. And form it into a loaf. And this pan is the perfect pan for this bread. The whole recipe will fit in it. It's a little longer, a little narrower than the normal kind of bread pan, and I love it. But you can use a regular bread pan, or you can use the smaller bread pans that will make about 3 of the real small loaf-sized pans if you do that. Just going to set this in here. And I'm going to fit it in there so that we don't end up with one end of it real large and bulky. And now I'm going to allow this to rise for 30 minutes in that nice warm spot that I have by my oven. It's all risen and ready to go in the oven for 30 minutes. So I'm going to take this out of the pan even though it's still hot so you can see what it looks like. There we go. One perfect loaf of gluten-free bread. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. Keep on cooking. I'll make bread, okay? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Poor baby.